Welcome anyone who's live, welcome anyone who's watching the recording. Let's all take a moment to breathe together in this beautiful sacred space that we are creating here together. Just like we can do in person, we can also do online, just as powerful and transformational. So if you have a candle, let's light the candle together. And if you don't, that's okay. I have one here for us. I'm going to light this beautiful candle. And as we look at this flame, let's invite the element and spirit of fire, the sacred flame, to illuminate within us the love and the light that we naturally are. Let's take a moment also to invite all 7 cardinal directions, the north, the south, the east, and the west, above and below and within, to be with us in the next hour in this beautiful sacred space. We honor these sacred energies, their elements, and of course, their guiding principles. Each direction has medicine for us. We welcome their presence into our call, into our hearts, into this time together, supporting us into deeper connection, deeper understanding of ourselves and of each other and of the whole world. We open up to new possibilities and awareness over the next hour. We invite our beloved Pachamama into our hearts and into this beautiful online space and circle that we're creating. We invite her to open up our lungs, that we may breathe more deeply and welcome in so much more awareness and abundance. We invite the spirit of cacao into our hearts to help us to be open to see new perspectives throughout the call. We invite our ancestors to ignite the fire within us, the remembering that we are being divinely guided by them and by so many others. We invite our spirit guides, our beautiful spirit guides, who we are in deep connection with. We invite them into our hearts and into this space as well. Now more than ever, the world needs more spaces of deep, authentic, beautiful, safe, loving connection, healing, and empowerment. And to feel the true reverence that can only come from within. Sacred circles offer just that. Literally a sanctuary where people can come and feel safe, seen, heard, and their own strength can be revealed from within them. And our strength is to live in reverence. That is what this slide says, to live in reverence. Because when we live in reverence, all we see and all we experience is reverence. And so although the topic of today's class over the next hour is going to be learn how to lead mesmerizing ceremonial circles and to turn this passion into a profitable, impactful business, although that is the title of today's class, we're really here to talk about reverence. Because reverence is what can shift our lives and can turn us into the most beautiful, embodied facilitators to support others. In my training, in all of my trainings, reverence is the keynote because it can only come from within, and only from a place of reverence can we truly create and hold spaces for true transformation. And so we're going to talk a lot about reverence in your life, whether you wish to be a circle facilitator or not, but also how this is so important in showing up for others for transformation. When we hold space with reverence, we don't just impart knowledge, we invite powerful inner transformation. The sacred isn't in the words we speak, but in the presence that we embody and the space we hold for others to awaken to their own wisdom. My personal journey into deeper reverence came from really the beginning of a daily ritual, which I'm going to talk about later, daily ritual with cacao. And it can come in many forms and has come for many people in many different ways. For me, that was the beginning of a whole new reality. And I'll share a little bit more later on about that. Today, the agenda. We're going to talk about the single most important thing that you need to be as a trusted facilitator. We're going to talk about 2 sacred practices that you can use right away to deepen in devotion. And we're actually going to do these together, which is really fun. We're going to talk about how to turn your passion into a thriving, heart-centered business. In this case, facilitating sacred circles. We're going to see a behind-the-scenes look at how I built my sacred circle offering. We're going to talk about how you can go deeper, because some of you will wish to go deeper with this sacred work. And I'm going to have a special gift for those of you who stay until the very end. And that gift, by the way, has a $497 value. So far, looks like there's some pretty good odds. So we'll see how that works out. Love it. And those of you who are watching the recording, you're going to be like, wish I was there. Okay, so let's talk about your calling. Whatever your calling is, it's sacred and you're meant to do this work. So let's talk about, why are you here today? What brought you here on today's call? Whether you're here live, whether you're watching the recording, what brings you here today? Maybe you can type something in the chat if you're feeling called to. What was it that brought you here today? Maybe you want to lead ceremonial circles, but you don't know where to start. Maybe you want to turn your circles into a deeper devotion, deeper reverence. Maybe you're not sure how to facilitate in a deeply authentic way. Maybe you're being called to this work, but you struggle with confidence, maybe even with some structure, or maybe even how to make it financially viable or sustainable. Or maybe you crave deeper connection, deeper devotion, deeper community. What is it for you? Why are you here today? And now let's talk about, what is the single most important thing? This is a question to you, that you need to be trusted as a facilitator. Embodiment. So it is, who are you as a person? It's embodiment over expertise and devotion over perfection. So whatever it is you're bringing into your circle, whatever it is you're teaching, are you truly an embodiment of that? Do people look at you and say, wow, you are the spirit of that thing? Whether it's yoga or whether it's cacao, sharing cacao, whether it's talking about financial success, whatever it is, are you a true embodiment of whatever it is you're sharing in your circles? I want to just share right now my personal journey to devotion and facilitation, which started over 5 years ago for me, actually almost 6 years ago, when the spirit of cacao started calling to me. Plant medicines, as some of you may know, are sacred spirits. They're literally gods. They're cosmic spirits and beings that have manifested themselves onto some of our plants so that we can consume them and go into journeys with them. Now, yes, we can in fact speak to them and be on these journeys without consuming them. And it's so beautiful how how nurturing and beautiful they are, because sometimes we feel as part of our consciousness journey that we have to have something that we're drinking or connecting with in the physical in order to connect in the spiritual. And that's just one of the steps. That's one of the reasons why they've come in physical form for us. But as we start to connect with them, we realize they are there always with us. They are spirit guides. We connect with them anytime. And my journey into deeper levels of reverence began with this simple yet profound daily ritual, which was drinking my cacao every single day, sitting with her in silence, speaking to the spirit of cacao, deepening in my conversations with her, getting more vulnerable, asking for more support, acknowledging what was really painful and what were my struggles, and asking, you shall receive. And then starting in this process to receive, to listen, to hear those whispers, and to start to be impacted, to be this open channel to receive even more, and eventually to be able to share as a channel for others. A pivotal moment in my life through this big change of this journey of devotion and embodiment was what's called the dieta, the plant medicine dieta. And I wish that for everyone to experience at least once in their life. I do this many times a year. I absolutely love this deepening, sacred ancestral journey that we can do with the plant, where we drink the medicine. In this case, it could be cacao or mushrooms every day for a certain number of days that we've agreed with the plant spirit. We've changed our diet so that we are in a purified state to receive even more. We're in more of a quiet state. There's all these different things that we do. And in that journey, that was a pivotal moment for me in having this beautiful dieta, this structure, this speaking and connecting so deeply with the spirit guide, and the consistency, the daily consistency. Because as we know, anything you want in your life, you can have if you're consistent with it, including some of our desires. We have to be consistent with the thoughts that are in our head and the conversations we're having in our head, the consistency. And so within that dieta journey, which I experienced very early on in my journey with cacao, I was guided to work with a beautiful shaman. Beautiful shaman. Her name is Shaman Shonon Soy, and she introduced me to the sacred dieta. And I've had the honor of experiencing many dietas with her, transformational journeys of deepening with the spirit herself. From there, I started to work with an Andean shaman. His name was Puma Freddy. And this beautiful man, this is where I was diving deeper into devotion, reverence, relationship with the spirit, personal relationship, and personal relationship with self. And then Priestess Elaine, Kalila. This was really to begin to awaken my sacred priestess lineage. And if you're here today, there's something in you too as a priest or priestess. All of that remembering of the sacred work that we've done in other lifetimes, that we're here remembering and reawakening for others. Cacao guided me personally to work with these certain teachers or to read certain books, to expand into certain things. One of the things was expanding into the understanding of consciousness. What is consciousness? The layers of consciousness, so that I can start to understand that I don't know and believe, truly know that I don't know anything. Because we go around believing we know everything. We have all these opinions and we have all these beliefs, and we don't allow sometimes new beliefs to come into our life. And that is where we stop expanding in consciousness. And so these medicines and this journey of devotion helps us to become humble and to remember we know nothing, to be open to everything. Open to everything. Why? So that when we are facilitating, we don't bring our opinions and our projections and our traumas to that facilitation. We sit in a space of remembering that there are all different perspectives in the room, and we honor them all. And this is why this path of working with sacred plants is so, so, so important. And it's essential, in my opinion, as a facilitator. And so even though this training, I used to only train embodied people who wanted to be embodied cacao facilitators. Now I train anyone. And I have the honor, the joy of holding space and being the bridge for others to experience how to serve others through sacred ceremonies in so many different rituals, practices, including the cacao now. Yeah. My circles are woven with so many different tapestries, from the priestess energies and rituals. We're going to talk about some fire rituals today and some eye gazing and all this good stuff, including cacao. And the beautiful thing about everything is just picking one, two, three, several of these beautiful practices and being in devotion to them. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how can you be in devotion to whatever your practice is. Yeah, you know what? The world needs more authentic facilitators now. There's a lot of people out there teaching a lot of things, and you can feel when they're not in true devotion, when they're not in true embodiment, whether just they've gone and they've heard something and they just want to regurgitate it to others. And that can happen also in this space, where people go to a ceremony. I've had people come to a cacao ceremony their very first time, never even heard of it. And all of a sudden the next day, they've contacted me to say, hey, I'm going to include cacao in my ceremonies now. How can I, how do I heat the cacao? And it's like, oh my God, there's so much devotion, sacredness, honoring, reverence, that when we apply to everything in our life, everything changes. Everything changes. Not only our own reality, but the people who show up for us. It's an absolutely beautiful journey. And so I just want to take a moment and talk about Goddess Temple Cacao, the vision for Goddess Temple Cacao. It's empowering transformation through sacred ceremonial circle facilitation. Sacred circles have the power to awaken profound transformation by creating spaces of deep connection, healing, and wisdom sharing. And through this facilitation training, you'll be empowered to hold space with reverence, devotion, integrity, and authenticity. So we're not talking just about experience or wisdom or teaching things. We're talking about first, the most important parts, which are devotion, integrity, and authenticity, guiding others on a journey of self-discovery and collective healing, because it's not about us, it's about them, holding space for them. And it's rooted, this training, in ancient traditions and adapted to modern needs. And this training cultivates the art of deep listening, mindful presence, ethical leadership, by embracing the sacred responsibility of facilitation, because that is what it is. It is a sacred responsibility. We foster communities where every voice is honored, every story is sacred, every gathering becomes a mirror for us and a catalyst for transformation for ourselves and for others. Okay, there are 4 pillars of a powerful, profitable ceremonial business. The first one is sacred leadership. How do you show up and hold space? We talked about that, embodiment, devotion. The second is authentic offering, your unique way of guiding circles. Every single person who takes this training or any other training can walk away with completely different circles that we share, because it's all about your unique style, your unique presence, adding your own medicines to it. Number 3 is energetic exchange, pricing, receiving, and aligning to abundance. And number 4, sacred marketing, sharing your work in a way that calls in the right people, because your business is an extension of your sacred work. So we want to let it flow with ease and integrity. And you're here because you're curious how to not only facilitate ceremonial circles, but also to create a successful business through this, serving as many people as possible. I'm sure you'll agree. Yeah. Now, why do many facilitators struggle to grow? Let's talk about that for a minute. Some people feel guilty about charging for their sacred work, not having a clear structure sometimes of the ceremony, a lack of confidence in calling in clients. Who am I to be the facilitator? Overgiving without energetic boundaries. Yeah, but the shift is sacred service. But it doesn't mean self-sacrifice. This is why we work with the elements. This is why we work with the directions. This is why we work with Pachamama. This is why we invite them into our space to really ask for deep, deep, deep connections and understanding and embodiment of all there is abundance and wealth. We're divinely protected at all times. These are all the topics we dive deep into in our training. Okay, so now let's talk about 2 sacred practices that you can start right away. Okay, so I talked about how cacao was my very first real devotional practice that brought me into a whole new world of devotion. Just have my tea. Okay, so the first practice is called flame gazing. I love this one. In a minute, I'm going to talk about how I bring this into some of my circles. But first, we're going to do this practice together. Okay, so this is a yogic practice, and it's sometimes linked even to hatha yoga. It is a beautiful, nurturing, creating nurturing, peaceful mind. So we're going to reawaken the power of your gaze right here, okay? Your gaze. We have 2 practices. When I was thinking today, what did I want to include? I realized, our eyes are so sacred, and so many of us don't realize the power in our gaze and our eyes. And so we're going to experience the practice of nurturing a peaceful mind through what's called flame gazing. We're going to emphasize mental clarity and purification, mental purification, while we illuminate the inner fire. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You're going to sit comfortable, shoulders down, make sure your back is supported or comfortable. And we're going to gaze at this flame in a minute. And you're going to gaze without blinking. Now, in my circles, I put the timer for an entire 5 minutes. No blinking for 5 minutes. For today, we're going to do 1 minute. In fact, I'm going to get the timer ready here. 1 minute without blinking. 1 second here. And now what's going to happen is you're going to want to blink. Of course, you're going to, just before we get started, you're going to want to blink. And in case you do, just squint. Just do a little squinting. Just kind of a little bit. Don't close your eyes, just a little squint, but keep your focus and attention on that flame. I'm going to come in a little bit closer with the flame. Okay. Hopefully you can see this unless you have one with you. If you have a candle with you, that's even better. But if not, here is the flame. And we're going to start that 1 minute. No blinking. We go right now. Keep your attention on the flame. Squint if you must. Your eyes may be getting dry. As you squint, you might see the shine of the flame, different directions. Focus on not blinking. Keep your eyes open. You can do this. We're almost there. Your eyes might get teary, and that's okay. That's normal. You're safe. Okay. This is a beautiful sacred practice. The more you can do this, every day even, the more you will go into devotion within yourself, within your goals, within your presence, within your focus. I love to include this practice in some of my circles where we do some visioning. We might release something that is no longer serving us, call in a new vision, and then look at the flame for 5 minutes as we focus on our desire, on that vision. And what I love so much about this is when I share this with others and I talk about 5 minutes, we're going to spend 5 minutes without blinking. Most people tend to go into a little bit of a panic. And maybe you did a little bit too when you heard a little bit about 5 minutes, a panic, and it's a bit of fear that comes up. But when we actually do this for 5 minutes, and I want to encourage you to do this at home for 5 minutes, you can do this. Your eyes will start to tear, and that's okay because it's safe. This is your eyes protecting you from dryness. Will start to tear, and your focus will become so much more attentive. It's such a powerful practice. So I hope you really enjoyed that one. And the second one is eye gazing. Okay. So we've all experienced eye gazing. I know we have. Let me just see here if there's any messages. No, we've all experienced eye gazing, but we're going to go deeper today. Because eye gazing is not just about who you're gazing your eyes with, who you are gazing with, and how present you are to that person. It's also for yourself. And so right now, let's look at each other. And let's just look. I'm going to come in a little bit closer. And just look at my eyes. And we're going to gaze together here. And I want you to look at me beyond what you see and who you know. You know that my name is Judy. Maybe some of you know me, maybe some of you don't. Can you look beyond Judy? Can you see the soul that is Judy? Can you see the love that is Judy? Can you see the spirit? And share that with your eyes. Look deeply beyond what you know to be true into the deeper knowing of being true, which is the sacred soul that I am. And notice how present you are. Notice the presence, the love. And notice how much love you're sharing with me. I want you to imagine showing up to each and every conversation, whether you're facilitating circles, which are so important, of course, to be there for these people in this beautiful way, so much presence, but also in your day-to-day life, maybe through work, strangers, the cash register at the grocery store. This presence, this is how Jesus was able to heal for so many. He wasn't actually healing, he was present for them, and they saw the presence, they saw themselves in him. I'm not a religious person. I bring that up because I am learning over the years so many things that are in sacred texts, not just the Bible, but others. And we see them from a place of love and new perspectives, and realizing that we too are just as powerful. We can awaken the sacredness in all parts of us, including our eyes. So I hope you enjoyed that exercise as well. Two beautiful exercises around the eyes. And I want to share with you now so many others that we're just going to quickly talk about. We're not going to do these practices, but there's other sacred practices which I absolutely love and adore, which I love to share with others in our training. Some of them are the anointing rituals, sacred sound and vocal activations, temple dance and embodiment and movement, water blessings and purification rituals, a fire ceremony, elemental alchemy, moon priestess rites, devotional offerings and altar work. I love that one so much. I mean, I love them all, but having an altar always, it's just so beautiful. Sacred ancestral invocation, oracle work and intuitive divination. The sacred rite and passage of the sacred rose, frequency of the rose, devotional offerings of gratitude, reciprocity, sacred exchange. So offerings to the earth. So many of these beautiful practices. And as you can see, some of them seem more interesting than others. And as you learn about these, you might be called to one or two of these. And the first step is to be in devotion to that, to bring that on as a practice, to start to do this regularly so that you experience the transformations, the shifts, the stories, the embodiment, so that you can truly sit and hold space for others within that medicine. And that's how we can really shift. I want to share with you also what I've come to create over the years, which is the Sacred Circle Facilitation, Goddess Temple Sacred Circle Facilitation Blueprint. Feel free to do a screenshot, take a picture. This is something that has become so important, has become part of what I do every day and how I teach. And the first step is the foundation of the sacred circle. That is first understanding their purpose, the intention. Why do we have circles versus ceremonies? What is the history of these? So we can understand the lineage that we're so honored to continue. The significance, for example, like we talked about a circle versus a ceremony. The reverence. You as a foundation, are you in a place of reverence? How do we get to this place of reverence? Awakening and consciousness. So number one is all about the foundation, which is you. In your awakening, your consciousness, to be in this beautiful space, this journey. Part of facilitating the circle is the journey. It's in fact more beautiful than the facilitation itself, is the journey of who we become. And that is this beautiful journey of awakening and realizing more and more who we really are and how we're just here to just be and have fun. Number two is facilitation skills and circle design. This is all about holding space, group dynamics. So important. You're going to get different people in the groups. Opening and closing, as you experienced at the beginning of today's call, a beautiful opening, so many ways, so many invocations we can create. But again, first, are we just calling this in because we've heard of it, or are we truly in honor, reverence, and relationship with whomever, whatever we are invoking into the space? Knowing the intention, sharing the intention with others, making sure they have an intention when they come into the circle, storytelling, and of course, channeling. Channeling, opening up to be the channel so that things can come through us, the messages, the stories, the medicine. We're there only to hold space. The structure, the flow, and of course, honoring diversity. And then number three is the integration and ethical practice. So working with the energy, understanding the energy, not just of the people in the group, of our medicines, but also reciprocity, abundance, being of service, payments, marketing, and of course, the resources, the training itself, all of this beautiful work. And so for some of you, you might be thinking, well, yeah, I really want to go deeper here. How can you go deeper with this sacred work? This is where I'd like to talk a bit about the Goddess Temple Sacred Ceremonial Circle Facilitator Training. And if you've ever felt the deep call to hold sacred space, but you're worried, are you ready? Or maybe you're already holding sacred space, but you want to deepen into a deeper devotion, maybe add different practices that you can be in devotion to. Maybe you're struggling with a bit of confidence, or maybe you long for a path that honors both ancient and modern needs. This training is the bridge to becoming an embodied, trusted facilitator, to guiding others through profound transformation with authenticity and devotion. It's 8 weeks. This whole training is an 8-week intensive with 12 weeks where you're constantly coming back into the next group, because there's always another group that we're training, and you're coming back into those classes and back into the trainings and back into the monthly pod circle trainings as well. So this is the beautiful just information page with a little bit more information in here. We're not going to go through it all, but I do want to share that there are, I'm going to include, I've got looks like a few other people popping in now, priestess practices that we talked about, which you may or may not be connected to, which again, in the training, we talk about how you can be in devotion to those, how you can really connect with those, be in devotion to those, and then bring those into your sacred circles and ceremonies. Also, some of the other practices that we had just talked about on the other screen. There are 8 live classes. So there are 8 modules, 8 live classes. Here they are listed at any point if you wish to look at that. I'll share the screen. But what's so beautiful about this is the ongoing support that not only are we live on the trainings, everything's recorded, all of the practices, all of the information is available to you at all times as well to come back to, but we will co-host an online circle within your first 9 weeks together as a group, whether it's in little pods or bigger groups or smaller groups. We will all have an opportunity to come together online so that you can practice online as well as in person, followed by every single month online ceremonies where we can again come. Everybody takes a section of the ceremony and we come together, we learn, we support each other, and we have different experiences in practicing and in hopefully coming together and collaborating, because that is one of the most essential medicines, I believe, in moving forward. Yeah, and then I want to just share something really interesting here. Everything in one course. So I've got this note here. Upon completion of this training, you'll be nurtured and supported to facilitate a wide variety of ceremonies and gatherings. So just look at this list here. So baby shower blessings, bridal circles, wedding blessings. So what I'm talking about here is when you are in devotion and when you are going to be connected to invoking certain spirits that you are in relationship with, whether it's Pachamama, whether it's the directions, whether it's the elements, whether it's a sacred fire, whatever it is, imagine the opening, the closing, the sharing that can happen in between, adding one of those elements, those practices, those rituals within the circle or the blessing, or not, just making it a sharing or a simple blessing. But you can see how it all, you're going to learn how this can all be very easily translated into one of these beautiful settings. And so possibly one of these is very near and dear to you. And you might be thinking, well, yeah, I have young children, I have little babies. Baby shower blessings. Wow, to be able to do such a thing, to be able to bring people together and create this blessing, this honoring where everybody is connected in this sacred way. So there's so many beautiful ways that you can really take this and make it your own. I also want to share here, we're going to talk about a couple of beautiful stories, but really quickly here, just what's included in the training over the 8 weeks intensive and then the 12-week ongoing, the 12 month ongoing training. Again, lots of videos, learning lessons, written guidance, live trainings, 100% satisfaction guaranteed, 60-day money back guarantee, library of different circle activities, all of those circles that we just showed you, all of those examples of what you can do with all of those, ways that we talked about to facilitate, to be in sacred space, to be in devotion. So much is included in here. And here it is, live online trainings, over 55 lessons, all of which are live and recorded, and the recordings are available, most of which are already recorded in there. There's many new ones that I'm adding to this one as well. Every time I do this training again, I add new, because I'm always evolving. I'm always in devotional relationship with some new medicines, and then I can add those as well when I'm called and in relationship with it. And yeah, the next one is March 16th. And here it is. And it's going to be every Sunday from 3:30 until 5 Eastern, beginning March 16th. There's 8 weeks, all live on Zoom. Yeah, this is the first time I'm offering this training at this price, which is amazing. I decided to do this for the new year. It has been, the regular price was $1,555 with payment plans or just one-time payments. The reason why it's lower is because I've taken away the dieta. The dieta used to be included in this. I've removed it just because there are some people in this training who maybe aren't quite wanting a deep connection with cacao, plant medicine, and that's beautiful too. Whatever your heart is calling to is what we're here to help you to foster and to ignite. And even removing the dieta, I even wanted to create this even lower price point to really support people. I love this price point of $497. I mean, it's so simple, and it's normally quite affordable for most people, especially if you can do a payment plan. And so I want to just bring you back in to, yeah, to some beautiful testimonials. I just want to share a couple with you because these are really, really, really profound. I want to share one that is from Susie. I'm just going to read it to you here. Before I started my training, I was at rock bottom, exhausted, depressed, and confused about my path. The training gave me hope, a sense of belonging. I kept hearing a whisper in my mind, "You can do this for others." The idea excited and terrified me all at the same time. I had never considered myself a leader. When I finally hosted my own circle, I was shaking with nervousness at the start. But once I opened the group sharing, people sank into the moment and I felt a sense of purpose. Holding space has continued to push me to heal parts of me that I hadn't even realized were wounded. Each circle is a mirror showing me both the incredible resilience of human hearts and the delicate responsibility of guiding others. I've never felt more alive or aligned with who I'm meant to be. It's so beautiful. And then Jessica, one other. Jessica says, I was so nervous about the training at first, thinking that I had no place leading people into their hearts and into a place of personal transformation. But during this training, I felt so held and guided. Not only are there videos and scripts and transcriptions, the live trainings, there are also ongoing classes and everything that I could possibly ask for. I've attended some of the monthly online practice ceremonies, which was essential in me beginning to host my own circles. I now host 3 circles a month and keep coming to this training for more insights and ideas with most of the live classes. So good. And so now your calling is sacred. We're going to close this beautiful time together and to talk about how you were meant to do this work. You know, if you're here, there's something that's calling to you and you really are meant to do this work. It's a matter of time. And the world does need your presence. People in your life and people outside of your reality right now need your presence, your heart, your devotion. It really is time to step forward with confidence. And so if you're ready to take the next step, I want to welcome you, my friend. I'm going to share the link here in the chat. And before I do that, I also want to remind you that I have a gift. Okay, the gift is this. The gift is 2 of my personal coach training sessions. And I want to share how I coach. I have recently been, over the last really year and a half, shifting in the way that I change and invite new desires into my reality. And that is a sacred 3-day embodiment process that I learned through Neville Goddard. And part of this coaching is clarifying one desire, getting very clear on the vision. How will you know that that has happened? Understanding what the 3-day commitment is going to look like in terms of full embodiment, fully being, doing, and having that thing for 3 days. No excuses, no minds, no other conversations, living it as though it's real and experiencing transformational shifts in that. And so I take you through that process. Now, my coaching normally is the whole process. The 2 sessions is going to be clarifying the vision and understanding exactly what those 3 days are going to look like for you, because there's certain elements that you're going to be committing to, and then preparing you for the 3 days. And then over the 3 days, we can speak through WhatsApp and see how you're doing to keep yourself aligned with that one big shift in your reality. And so I'm excited for somebody to experience that.